Time to get Southern fried. Let's do it. And ladies and gentlemen, it is the Southern Fried Gentleman of Southern Fried Sports. Oh my goodness, I cannot figure out how to swap. There we go. How to swap my screen back on Facebook. Epic fail. That's all right. We are real life. Oh, you know what, Facebook? That's all right. Y'all just gonna have to deal with that tonight. I don't know what's up right there. Facebook, hello. YouTube, hello. Southern Fried Gentleman, Southern Fried Sports. It is time to get cooked, ladies and gentlemen. We have tons of things going on in the sports world. We have the WNBA Finals with the New York Liberty. Yeah, the New York Liberty. Almost forgot their name there for a minute. With a chance to close it out against the Minnesota Lynx in Minnesota, Sabrina Ionescu with a huge shot from 28 feet last night. Wow. I got a commenter over here, Brian Petit. I always do that. Brian Pettit says that the Dodgers are winning 1-0 versus the Mets right now, and that's exactly where I was going to start this episode, was with some baseball. First of all, again, this is Southern Fried Sports. You can find me on the greenvillesportsmedia.com, the FurmanChouse.com, thefangirls.com. Shout out to all of those wonderful shows that are featured on that website. Listen, if y'all need somewhere to go to find sports, it is all right there on greenvillesportsmedia.com. Like I said, we were going to talk some baseball. How about a former Gamecock, Clark Smith, getting the start tonight for the New York Yankees, which the Yankees were losing, I think, 2-1 there for a little bit. Now they are up 4-3 late in the game. The Dodgers, the Mets are just getting going. As Brian pointed out, 1-0 Dodgers over the Mets. I don't think the Mets are going to be able to come back from this, but it's always possible. We have seen crazier things in sports. And so that was my leadoff question, y'all. In all this, we've got Clark Smith, a Gamecock. We've got Spencer Rattler, a Gamecock, starting the Thursday night football game tonight. So that was where I was going to kind of start this whole show, okay? What is your favorite professional performance by one of your favorite college players? So for me, I was really happy with Connor Shaw recently. I'm recently happy with Spencer Rattler. Jordan Montgomery in the MLB last year with the Texas Rangers in the playoff, and the Diamondbacks in the playoffs there. And so, I mean, obviously we've got, the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Mannings of this world. But if you have a small school, your favorite athlete from that school, what is their best performance? Obviously, we've got Clemson, we've got Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence right now not playing up to their hefty contracts. So that's a little bit different from this question. But, I mean, you kind of see where I'm going with this, y'all. So what are some of your favorite athletes? Because to me, I love keeping up with Gamecock athletes. I'm a Gamecock fan. And, you've got the Carolina Panthers who have had, and even do have now, several Gamecock players. No Clemson players. And Clemson doesn't seem to have that team out there, really, that takes a lot of their players. I mean, they're kind of strewn, all throughout the league, which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And speaking of Clemson, So that was your Southern Fried appetizer for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to dive into a little bit of the entree, if you will. Clemson this weekend gets to play the Virginia Cavaliers. And now I know that there are a couple of assistants that Dabo Swinney has. Brent Venables, Tony Elliott, had what was it, Chad Scott? I forget the first name. I know last name was Scott. And he went off on his own there. I think he's back at Clemson now as an offensive analyst. So yeah, Coach Scott. I can't remember. Jeff Scott, Chad Scott, Clemson fan. Brian, you're a Clemson fan. Tell me if I'm right or wrong here. Which name was it? Was it Chad or Jeff? I think it was Jeff. But anyways, there hasn't been many times that Dabo has come across one of his former assistants, like Nick Saban did. I mean, there for a while, Nick Saban's assistants were 0-25 against him. And so that was another question that came to my mind. Dabo Swinney is a great coach. He even beat Nick Saban a few times. And so, is it that family culture, though, at Clemson that keeps all of these assistants there? And they're not getting hired as head coaches at other schools? Like, why are Clemson assistants not being sought out after like the rest of these college assistants? And like I said, especially Nick Saban. I mean, Dabo, he's up there on the list right now. One of only, I think, 3 or 4 head coaches that have won a national championship. I think it's down to 3. Kirby, Dabo, and it might just be, and Mac Brown. So yeah, it's down to 3. Mac Brown being the 3rd. Which, speaking of old poor Mac Brown, I heard some folks mention today him being on the hot seat. I don't think that's the case. This would be like saying that Steve Spurrier was on the hot seat back in 2015. He just up and left. He was like, you know what? It's my time. I'm retiring. Mac Brown will do that before he gets fired. Let me be clear there. Mac Brown will step away or be fired and retire before he gets fired. I don't know if I said that right. I don't know. I got a little caught up in my thought there. Mac Brown will either retire or step away or something before he is fired. And I think that UNC, just based on respect alone, would allow him that opportunity. It's Jeff Scott. I thought he came back as an offensive analyst, though. The one that went down to like USF or UCF or something? USF. Yeah, I thought he was back as an offensive analyst, though, for Clemson now. Maybe he got let go again. I don't know. But I just find it very funny, though, about Dabo Swinney's assistants. Like Nick Saban's assistants, everybody wanted them as the next head coach. I would want people under Dabo Swinney to be my next head coach. Not many of them, though, have gotten those opportunities. I think Garrett Riley might be the next in line. But, of course, there's Matt Luke, who already has head coaching experience as well there at Ole Miss. I mean, he might be next in line. I don't know. I've kind of gotten off on this tangent, though, about Clemson assistant coaches, regardless of the fact they have figured out their offense. They are playing fantastic football right now. Yeah, it took them a little bit to get going against Wake Forest, which I said that. I said, hey, the number 10 team in the country has lost 5 times already this year. Be careful. And Wake Forest even came out, scored first, but then before you know it, it was 14-7 Clemson, on and on and on and on, all the way up, to the final score being what it was being. Let's see here. Did I have anything else about some entrees this evening? We've got, of course, Virginia Tech and Boston College playing right now, 14-0. Virginia Tech leading over Boston College. My wife, my brother-in-law, y'all know him, Uncle Poops. I've mentioned him before. He's here in the house, and not too much longer, I don't think, from here. He's going to be in the house with us here on Southern Fried Sports. Fingers crossed. We shall see. Hopefully, Uncle Poops will be joining us in the coming future. While I'm talking about football, before I hit a small break, football, let me talk about the USC Gamecocks versus Oklahoma this weekend. I am utterly shocked by the 1.5 point spread that it has shrunk down to. It started at 3.5. It has shrunk down to 1.5. I'm very confused by it. Honestly, I know that Oklahoma has injuries, but you just don't know what inconsistency you're going to get from this Gamecock team week in and week out. And so I would almost put it at 5 points, maybe. Gamecocks -5. Not 1.5. Listen, I can't handle another 1.5 or a 2 point loss. I can't. I can't. This is a must win for the South Carolina Gamecocks. All right. We either have to beat Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Missouri, Vanderbilt, which, oh, by the way, Vanderbilt, check the ESPN predictor right now. Vanderbilt is 52%. Gamecocks are 48%. I don't even want to know the last time that's happened because I don't think it ever has. Never has it ever happened that Vanderbilt was projected to beat South Carolina. Now, of course, as they've beat Alabama and Kentucky and Virginia Tech, whom I just mentioned, it's not to say that Vanderbilt can't ever win, but I'm just saying South Carolina right now owns the longest win streak against Vanderbilt at 17 games, I believe it is. Yes, we have to worry about Oklahoma this week. But as who I am, and projector of records and such, you can no longer chalk up Vanderbilt as a win. You just can't. Not right now. Now, if we come out and smoke Oklahoma, which I highly doubt, it's possible, but I highly doubt it. Then maybe I would say, okay, now I'm comfortable again against Vanderbilt. But I need to see some offensive play calling this week. I need to see some let it hang out this week. I need to see some lead blockers this week. That 4th down play that we scored a touchdown on, by the way, is a play that we've never practiced. You want to know why we had never practiced it? Because it was a pass route more than 20 yards. That's why we ain't never practiced it. We have proven that we will not stretch the field vertically. And so if I'm a defensive coordinator, all my dudes staying 20 yards from the line of scrimmage, and I'm playing backwards front until you can prove you can throw it past me. And that is the issue with the South Carolina offense. They haven't tried to throw it past 20 yards, nor have they even proven that they could do it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is J.D. Wyatt's Southern Fried Chicken. Gamecocks are chickens. It's your Southern Fried Chicken segment of this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I tell y'all what, let's hit a little break because I don't want to mix too many things here together all at one time. But we are going to swap over to some college basketball. I said I wasn't ready, but after seeing a lot of these comments and rankings coming out lately, yeah, your boy got some thoughts. JD Wyatt has some thoughts. Y'all give me just a moment. I'll come back. All right, my bad, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. Sorry, every once in a while, I kind of got to reset. Got to give myself a break. And then we changed it up to a new topic. So, college basketball. Full go now. I am so ready to have more of my time tied up in wonderful sports. We've got women's college basketball, men's college basketball. We've got my favorite player, LeBron James, who I root for with the Lakers, and now I don't have a favorite team anymore because they drafted Bronny, and I keep getting all kind of nonsense about Bronny. We'll save that rant, though, for another day. But, yeah. Bronny, apparently, he wants his own character in Call of Duty. Meanwhile, you haven't made a field goal, you haven't made a shot, you haven't made a point. If you didn't already have a guaranteed contract, you would have been cut 17 years ago, if not for your name being Bronny James. All right? We'll leave that one there. We'll come back to that one later on. However, speaking of Bronny James, he played basketball at the University of Southern California last year. No, I don't call that school USC. You want to know why? Because my USC was a school before that university and that state were even a state. Therefore, the true USC resides in Columbia, South Carolina. And we can have the whole debate about the Jeopardy debate about Columbia versus Columbia later. But as for now, J.D. Wyatt, Southern Fried Sports, declares that the real USC is in Columbia, South Carolina. We were a state before, we were a school before y'all were a state. Period. It ain't my fault they didn't trademark it, but again, that's a conversation for a different day. But so Bronny James played at USC. I'm going to try to pronounce this name right. Talia Good. Talia. Talia Good. She proclaimed the number one women's college basketball team to be the University of Southern California. I think she just put USC at 1-2, and somebody else maybe misconstrued it. Because I just said the real USC is in Columbia, South Carolina. And she is the only one that didn't have Dawn Staley's University of South Carolina women's college basketball Gamecocks as number one. That's absurd. I know USC, the Southern California version, they got a couple of players, but they do not roll as deep as the Gamecocks of South Carolina. And speaking of South Carolina basketball, Lamont Paris, bro. Hey, Paris is the city of love. Paris is the city of love, bro. And then Lamont, can't hate on that name either. I like that name. So you got a sexy name, dude. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. Don't let those thoughts creep into your head, Lamont Paris. He said that he does not have a sexy name because he's down here in the southeast. He went to the University of Worcestershire. I'm just kidding. He went to the University of Worcester. 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 Yes, your boy can still spell. Yes, words are hard, but I just nailed two hard ones. Worcestershire and Worcester. Hey, doing big things here. Southern Fried Sports. Don't forget, like, follow, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. I want more comments. Brian, here, let me get a few of your comments in real quick. I'm talking about Scott. Yep, Mets hit a home run, tied 1-1. It was 0-8 the last time Vanderbilt beat South Carolina. I mean, hey, don't remind me. I already told you I'm worried about losing to him in the first place. But Lamont Paris, as I said, you got a sexy name, dude. University of Worcester. You keep bringing in the classes that you're bringing in because the players that you played with last year, I heard one person say they were the island of misfit toys. Man, you did work with them. You went to the tourney. And then here we are again. We were projected last year. Now we're projected 11th. We finished third last year, if I'm not mistaken. Third, the Gamecocks. Third in the SEC. Yeah, Cousinard. He transferred to Oregon. He got his first round of the NCAA playoffs. But Lamont Paris, I think, there's no way. First of all, let me say this. The SEC media last year got nobody right. Lamont even pointed that out. They've never gotten anybody, whatever they say, nobody ever finishes in that position. So it's not going to happen. All right? But the Gamecocks will finish in the top 5 of the SEC this year. Finish in the top 1 in women's. Top 5 in the men's. I know it's a rough road. We got Arkansas now with Calipari. We got Nate Oates. Listen, SEC's gotten good at basketball. Good at basketball. It's crazy to talk about. Bang, bang, chicken gang. Let's see what else we can cook up this evening. I'm going to end my Facebook stream. My earbuds are dying. Y'all be blessed. Not stressed. We'll see y'all soon. But this is why you need to be on YouTube. So you can get everything. We miss some stuff on Facebook from time to time. Even my guests. So that's why it's best to be on YouTube. Let's see what we got. High school football this week, y'all. We are cooking. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back. We will talk South Carolina high school football right after this. Bang, bang, chicken gang. We have talked everything this evening. Anything you can imagine. We've talked about college basketball, favorite athletes, this, that, the third. It's a short episode this evening. But I do have some high school football talk that I wanted to get to. We have Woodruff and Brett Sloan, who I just heard from earlier on Moving the Chains podcast. Moving the Chains, Kevin and Jarrell have joined me here on the show. They had Brett Sloan of the undefeated Woodruff Wolverines, who go up against MVP this week, who have tons of drama. Tons of drama going on with MVP, man. There was alleged accidents. I'm not going to pretend I know any of it. I'm just saying what I've heard, what I've seen from posts and police reports. There was an MVP coach who was arrested, apparently drunk on the sideline. Listen, I don't know, alleged. But what's not alleged is my man Rowdy Roosters, Woodruff Wolverines, being 5-0. They play MVP charter, MVP charter. Should be a fantastic game. We have Lincoln Husky of Boiling Springs going against Spartanburg. We have Gaffney, who just beat Burns last week. We've got Greer with a big game against Seneca. And then, for my Red Devils, we have the Corey Fountain Bowl. What do you mean? Corey Fountain was the head coach at Landrum, y'all. Now he's down in Clinton doing big things. Should be a fantastic game. It might come down to it being the region winner for that 2A conference. What an episode, though, of Southern Fried Sports. Y'all, hey, smash the like button, the follow button. Go to greenvillesportsmedia.com. You can check my episodes there, just like on my YouTube stream. Brian, thank you for being here. Rowdy Rooster. Mother-in-law, father-in-law, Uncle Poops, my mom, my dad, sister, Michelle, my beautiful nieces, Taylor, Ashley, brother-in-law, Jay, brother-in-law, Shane, Andrew, Much love to every single one of you. I know that we are getting into political times. We will not do that here. But I would much appreciate if y'all would bring me some more sports takes and comments. I need those subscribes. I need those likes. Y'all help a brother out. I forgot to mention Furman. Big game, homecoming game. And guess what? Hey, this is one thing I want to say to you guys too. Do y'all know that Furman is the only place where you can say F you? Furman University. F you. And you want to know what? They take it one step further. They say F you all the time. Family show. Eyes up here. Furman University. Paladins, though. F you all the time. Go beat the Western Carolina University. Be blessed. Not stressed. We will see y'all soon. It's your Southern Pride gentleman of Southern Pride Sports. Good night. Send me comments. Call me crazy. I don't care. Good night.